Tommy the Duke Morison became famous for his strong punches in the 1990s. His punches were believed to be even stronger than those of the legendary Mike Tyson. He even won the WBO heavyweight title. Okay, so Tyson was known for his knockout power, but Morison was said to pack an even bigger punch. It means that when he hit his opponents, they went down and stayed down. Now, before we proceed, I want you to smash the like and subscribe buttons to stay up to date with all our videos. Alright, let's continue. Morison was one of the best boxers of the 1990s, with a long list of impressive victories under his belt. During his career, he beat boxers like George Foreman and Donovan "Razor" Ruddock. However, he never got the big fight with Mike Tyson that many people wanted to see. He became famous for knocking people out with a vicious left hook. He won a number of titles and knockouts that probably would have put him in the ring with Tyson if something bad had not happened. So the fight with Tyson didn't happen because Morison tested positive for HIV and was no longer allowed to fight in the US. That fight would probably have been one of the greatest in boxing history. During some time in his career, he won 13 matches in a row, winning 4 of them by knockout in the very first round. Here are 5 of Tommy Morison's most powerful fights. Number 5, versus James Tillis, 1991. Morison, unbeaten in his professional career, faced fellow Midwesterner and former world title challenger James "Quick" Tillis in a ring at the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Tillis' once promising career was going downhill, with 17 losses to go along with his 39 wins and 1 tie. But in most of those fights, he was able to last the whole thing. In 1986, he fought a young Mike Tyson for 10 rounds. But Morison showed the raw power that made many people like him when he knocked Tillis out 3 times in less than 2 minutes in round 1. First, he knocked him out with a mean left hook, then with a fierce right uppercut, and finally finished him off with another left hook. Number 4, versus Pinklon Thomas, 1991. Morison's next fight was against former world champion Pinklon Thomas, who was also at the end of his career. Thomas had a strong left jab and quick hands. Thomas, who was 33 years old and had a record of 30-5-1, had only lost to Mike Tyson in 1987 and Evander Holyfield in 1988 before facing Morison. In Kansas City, Missouri's Kemper Arena, Morison cut the former champion horribly above his right eye. He pounded Thomas with left hooks to the body and showed off his powerful right uppercut once more. In the first round, Thomas did not get knocked out. He didn't, however, come out for the second. Number 3, versus Joe Hip, 1992. Morison fought rival Joe Hip in a memorable bout at Bally's Hotel and Casino in Reno, Nevada. Hip, a southpaw, had an impressive record of 24-2 going into the fight. During the fight, Morison fractured his jaw and hand, while Hip broke his cheekbone. In the 4th round, Hip hurt Morison severely with a series of combination punches that resulted in blood. Even though Morison had knocked Hip down in the 5th round, by rounds 8 and 9, the underdog was starting to pose a threat. At 2:47 of round 9, the Duke finally knocked out Hip with a right uppercut bomb, which had become his trademark. Although this fight was ugly, it perfectly exemplified Morison's fan-friendly spirit and style. Number 2, versus Carl "The Truth" Williams, 1993. Carl Williams lost a disputed decision to the great Larry Holmes in 1985 for the IBF heavyweight title. He was also knocked out in the first round by Mike Tyson in 1989, when the baddest man on the planet was still nearing his peak and destroying the division. If Williams were to defeat Morison, it would put him right back in the mix. No such luck though. Morison knocked Williams down twice at the Reno Sparks Convention Center in Reno, Nevada, using his trademark left hook in rounds 1 and 3. But Williams fought well in spurts. In the 5th round, he knocked Morison down twice and won by technical knockout. But Tommy came back and showed great heart that night. At 2:10 of the 8th round, referee Mills Lane stopped the fight because he was repeatedly punching Williams along the ropes. Number 1, versus George Foreman, 1993. Morison fought Big George Foreman, who had a record of 72-1 at the time, for the WBO heavyweight title. Many people thought that Morison, who had suffered significant injuries at the hands of people like Ray Mercer, Carl Williams, and Joe Hip, would eventually come to his senses and submit to the raw power of the returning Foreman, who would engage Evander Holyfield in a challenging duel. The common belief was that Morison would resort to brawling at some point, giving the tree-chopping Foreman a puncher's chance at a knockout. However, on that night in Las Vegas, Morison fought with more self-control than in any other fight of his career. For the majority of the 12 rounds, he fought from the outside, capitalizing on his speed and youth to win. After the fight, Foreman announced his retirement. Incredibly, Foreman returned the following year and knocked out Michael Moorer to become the oldest heavyweight champion in history. But on that June evening in 1993, Tommy Morison finally proved his doubters wrong and won the heavyweight championship. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this.